Last week in the tournament, we got a great look at Matsuyama's lead foot and his strategy to allow that lead foot to move and reposition past impact and into his follow-through. We have my buddy Don Parsons up here, great coach, and he can still play. So I'm going to use his 3D to look at the typical pattern is, if you watch his lead foot here in a takeaway, it does what's called pronate. And his left heel does rise up. There's slight repositioning, but he ends up in supination. That's the past impact finishing pattern for the lead foot. So we go pronation in the takeaway, supination in the impact and follow through. Now if we go to our BodiTrak, if we watch what happens here, when I get into my takeaway position, you'll follow the left foot here on the screen as the loading occurs in the left forefoot, all right, in the takeaway. That's the pronation. Now when we come back through impact into the follow through, you see the left heel get loaded. So my left foot's now in supination. Let's go back to Donnie. And when we look at this, if we imagine what Matsuyama does, is here he repositions that left foot, which means that he's actually pivoting on the rear foot, basically pivoting on his heel. Now if you look at a quarterback, when he opens up to throw, for example, his lead foot will pivot on that front heel. When you think of Happy Gilmore and the run up and jump, what happens is when you reposition that foot, you do a few things. You're generally going to create less stress on the ankle joint, the outside of the ankle joint, and the knee and the hip. But you're playing with the timing factor. You've got to be a pretty skilled player to be able to time that kinematic sequence without losing stability. So it's not entirely a negative thing, and it definitely adds to certain parameters that Matsuyama is obviously doing very well. It's not something that the average amateur is probably going to be able to handle, but when we're thinking longevity and safety, this could be a repatterning which does relieve stress to the outside of the left ankle and the left knee. So under a good coaching environment, you might be able to determine whether or not that might meet your needs. All right. Talk to your coach about it.